Okay, now we're working on EE7, solving equations, page 12. I suggest, if you write big at all, that you get a separate sheet of paper for this one. Pause the video, grab your paper. Here we go. Let's solve for x. Well, first we want to get all the x's together on one side, since we have x's on both sides. So I'm going to undo this smaller x, which whatever I do to one side, I've got to do to the other side. Okay, that gets rid of my x's over there, leaving me with 2 equaling 5 minus 3 gives me 2x minus 5. I want your work to look exactly like my work. At this point now, x's are all on one side. Now I need to get everything away from x. So on the right side, I have 2 times x, and I have the x minus 5. So the first thing I'm going to undo is the subtraction, because of course we want to use SADMAP. Write that at the top of your paper, please. So then I'm going to add 5 to get rid of it, opposite operation. Add 5 to the other side. So 7 equals a 2x. And then I am going to divide by 2 to undo my multiplication of 2. So x will equal 3.5. Then we will check by plugging that 3.5 in. For checking, we're going to rewrite the original equation. 3x plus 2 equals 5x minus 5. And then, of course, we plug in our x. So 3 times 3.5 plus 2, we're seeing if that equals 5 times 3.5 minus 5. Well, let's see. 3 times 3.5, we can use our calculators here. 3.5 times 3 gives me 10.5. Plus 2, we're going to see if that equals 5 times 3.5, which is 17.5 minus 5. Well, what's 10.5 plus 2? That gives me 12.5. And 17.5 minus 5 also gives me 12.5. So it checks out. Okay, let's do the second one in problem 1. Write this down on your paper if you need to. Pause the video if you need to. And we're going to draw our line. All right, this time we have x's on both sides, but we also, both sides, excuse me, we also have 2 x terms on the left, which means I'm going to combine them. If you want to circle them, you can. We have a positive 3x and a negative 2x. When I add a positive 3 to a negative 2, I get just a positive 1x. Plus 3 equals 3 plus x. Well, this is really just an x plus 3. Do you notice anything about this equation? Looks pretty much the same to me. Well, let's check it out. If I were to continue solving, we want to get x's all on one side. So if this is 1x and this is 1x, well, I want to subtract one of them. Let's subtract this one. We'll get x's to the other side. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Well, right here, a 1x minus 1x is no more x's. They're gone. So I'm left with a 3. On the other side, 1x minus 1x is also gone. I'm left with 3. So I want you to write this down. When x's cancel out, we have 2 options. If true, meaning 3 equals 3, right? That's true. Then we have all real numbers, which means infinitely many solutions. Infinitely many solutions. And number 2, if false, then the other option, which is no solution. Okay? If x's don't cancel out, then you've got yourself a solution. It's just the normal solving equations like the first problem we did. But since the x's canceled out here, and we got this true statement, the answer for this question is all real numbers. Okay, that means any number will work. I can plug in any number here, and it will still be true. All right, let's do number 2. We have 4x minus 3 equals 7x minus 4 minus 3x. We have multiple x's over here again. So now we're going to combine those. We have, sorry about this, I'm going to erase this so I can fit it. We have 4x minus 3 on this side equals, well, 7x minus 3x, I think that's what that said, minus 3x, yep. Minus 3x. Be careful with your circling so you don't confuse yourself there. This is a 4x. 7 minus 3 is 4. And then we still have a negative 4 there. Well, as we can see, we're going to now have to get all the x's to one side. So if I want to subtract this 4x to get rid of it, that will cancel these out. And of course, whatever I do to one side, do it to the other side. Well, guess what? That also cancels those out. 4x minus 4x will always be nothing. No x. So what do I have left? I still have a negative 3, my equal sign, and a negative 4. Does negative 3 equal negative 4? No. So when all the x's are gone and it's false, there is no solution. And that's your answer. Not the word false. The answer is that there's no solution. All right. Last one for number 2. We still have x's on both sides. Let's go ahead and add this 1x to get rid of it on the left. And of course, if I do that, I have to add it to the right as well to keep it the same. So that cancels out the x's, leaving me with just an 8, equaling 2x plus 1x is 3x plus 9. Now I need to get everything away from x, so I need to subtract the 9 first. This is a negative 1 equaling 3x. And when I divide by 3, I get negative 1/3 equals x. All right, number 3. Now we have some fractions to deal with. We are going to distribute. Let's distribute this 1/2 to both terms in those parentheses and distribute a negative 3/4 to both of these. Okay, so let's see. Right now, I'm just going to write it out so you see exactly what we're doing. I have a 1/2 times this 2x, and I'm going to put the 2x over a 1 to make it easier to see. Then I am going to add to that a 1/2 times a negative 4 over 1, and that will equal, let's see, a negative 3/4 times the 4x, so negative 3/4. fourths times that 4x there, put it over a 1 again. And the last term is negative 3/4. So we're going to add a negative 3/4 times a negative 16. Okay, so let's do these carefully. We're going to do our multiplication here. So 1 right here, let's see what we're doing. We're going to do this first. Okay. So this is the same, and you can do this in a lot less steps. I'm just showing you each step in what I'm doing. So this is really 1 times 2x, which is 2x, over 2 times 1, which is 2. I just multiplied across the top and across the bottom. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for this next one. Multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. 1 times negative 4 is negative 4, over 2 times 1 is 2. All right, multiply across the top again. It's very important that you write neatly so you can read what you're writing. Negative 3 times 4x is negative 12x. The bottom is 4 times 1, which is 4. And the last piece is going to be negative 3 times a negative 16, which is a positive, like this. This is going to be a positive 48. And 4 times 1 is 4. Okay, now let's do some division here. 2x divided by 2. Well, the 2's cancel, leaving me with x. And I can write a plus there. Plus a negative. Well, negative 4 divided by 2 is just negative 2. You can use your calculator if you want. And what can be simplified here? Well, I can divide the top and bottom by 4. Okay, that leaves me with just a 1 here and a 3 here, which is a negative 3x over 1, or just negative 3x. And this one, 48 divided by 4, is 12. So one more time, we have x minus 2, because plus a negative 2 is just minus, equals negative 3x plus 12. Okay. So this is going to end up becoming, let's see, we're going to get all the x's to one side. When I have a negative 3x on the right, I like to undo that because that would mean I would be adding to undo it. So if I add 3x to both sides, I can see it will cancel it out over here, leaving me with 3x plus 1x is 4x minus 2 equals nothing but 12 on the other side. Getting everything away from x, let's add 2. Getting rid of the 2's, leaving me with 4x equals 14. None of these come out evenly, that's so funny. And when we divide by 4, x is going to be 14 divided by 4, which comes out to be 3.5. Okay, you can check that. You can plug that in, but I'm not going to do that right now. The last one here, 8 more than a certain number is 10 less than twice the number. Same number. Same number. Find the number. So instead of a certain number, we're going to call it x, and of course instead of this number, we're going to call it x. So 8 more than a certain number. 8 more than a number is an important word. That means equals, 8 more than a number equals 10 less than twice the number. Well, let's write this down. What do we have? 8 more than a number really means take that number and add 8 to it. That's what this means. 8 more than a number equals 10 less than twice the number. Remember, less than, again, means put the 10 after. We have to do twice the number, that's 2x, and take away the 10. Now we just saw, okay, let's get all the x's to one side. Since they're on both sides, I'm going to subtract this 1x here, subtract 1x over here as well. no more x's left on the left side. 8 will equal 2x minus 1x is just 1x minus 10. And lastly, I just need to add the 10 to get x by itself. So 18 equals x. Again, you can plug in that 18 to make sure both sides are the same. That's how we do that.